They stole my $12,000 custom ATV out of my own driveway. And the girl who did it live-streamed herself laughing while she peeled out across my lawn. 19 years old, designer sneakers, champagne in her hand, middle finger in the air. And her mother, our HOA president, just stood there smirking like she'd already won. That was the moment I realized something real clear. They didn't think I'd fight back. My name's Garrett Steele. I'm a disabled combat engineer. Afghanistan took my left leg, and a whole lot more than that. That ATV they stole. It wasn't a toy. It wasn't some weekend hobby. It was 8 months of therapy, hand controls custom-built to fit around my prosthetic throttle, calibrated so I could ride one-legged without tipping, reinforced seat molded to my frame. It was my ride to VA appointments, my way to get groceries without asking for help, my little slice of independence in a world that already took enough from me. And Brooklyn Thornfield, Delilah Thornfield's daughter, took it for a joyride like it was a carnival prize. 3 years earlier, I'd moved into Willowbrook Estates, Arizona, thinking I'd found peace. 847 homes, desert air that smelled like creosote after rain, quiet mornings broken only by sprinklers and distant lawnmowers. The VA therapist had told me, "Build something with your hands, Garrett. Reclaim control." So I did. Bolt by bolt, wrench turn by wrench turn, that ATV became more than metal. It became balance. Then Delilah declared war. Picture every HOA horror story you've ever heard. Now add inherited money, a real estate empire, and a board stacked with her golf buddies. First week I'm there, violation notice slapped on my door. Unauthorized vehicle storage, $500 daily fine. I read the bylaw twice. Commercial vehicles only. Mine qualified as durable medical equipment under federal ADA protections. I showed up to the HOA meeting armed with paperwork, citations, the whole 9 yards. The community center smelled like industrial carpet cleaner and stale coffee. Fluorescent lights buzzing overhead. Delilah sat at the head of the table like a queen holding court. "Mrs. Thornfield," I said calmly, sliding the VA certification across the table, "this vehicle is protected under federal disability law." Her nails clicked against fake wood. "Do you know who I am, Mr. Steele?" That's when I knew what I was dealing with. Brooklyn walked in halfway through filming on her phone, whispering loud enough for everyone to hear. "Is this the weird military guy?" I've heard that tone before. In sand-blown bases and dusty checkpoints. People who think power means immunity. They tabled my violation 4-3. Small win. But in the parking lot, I overheard Brooklyn giggle. "I'm literally untouchable here. Dad owns half the lawyers. Chief's his golf buddy." Untouchable. That word stuck in my teeth like grit. Phase 2 started with harassment. Midnight engine revving, beer cans thrown at my garage, anonymous complaints filed at 2 a.m. while I was physically at VA appointments with witnesses, cameras spray painted, professional work. Then the break-in attempt, 3:47 a.m. My hidden trail camera buzzed my phone. Night vision showed Brooklyn creeping toward my garage, lockpicks in hand. Not drunk, focused. Floodlights snapped on and she bolted, but the camera caught everything. The next day, Carlos Vega, our pool guy, knocked on my door shaking. "She's been casing your place for weeks." Meredith, a retired teacher who'd taught half the neighborhood, handed me a folder thick with evidence. I've been documenting them for 3 years. Turns out Delilah wasn't just power tripping. She was siphoning money, inflated contracts, fake emergency repairs, management kickbacks. Hundreds of thousands skimmed off working families. Brooklyn's chaos was just the spoiled kid version of her mother's fraud. And here's the twist they never saw coming. Meredith had been feeding documents to an investigative reporter for 8 months. Channel 12's Cassidy Walsh. They'd been building a federal case. My stolen ATV, that became the spark. Civil rights violations, grand theft, ADA discrimination layered on top of financial fraud. Federal agencies don't care about golf buddies. So I built a trap. Combat engineers don't rush into battle loud. We plan. Jake, an old cybersecurity buddy, helped me install military-grade GPS in the ATV frame. Redundant cameras. Remote kill switch linked to my phone. Brooklyn steals it again. I control where it dies. Then I baited her. Called her up sounding defeated. "I'm selling it tomorrow. Tonight's my last ride." She giggled. Smart choice, soldier boy. Friday evening, she took it. Again. This time, she live-streamed from the Scottsdale Country Club, my ATV parked under string lights like a throne. 3,000 viewers watching her brag. This is what happens when you mess with royalty. She revved the engine, champagne sloshing in her cup, screaming about how her daddy killed the investigation. At 6:47 p.m., she tried to take a victory lap across the golf course. I tapped one button. Engine dead. 6 unmarked vehicles lit up the sunset, red and blue. FBI agents stepping out from landscaping maintenance sheds, parked sedans. Brooklyn Thornfield, you're under arrest for federal civil rights violations and grand theft auto. Her face, man, it went from smug to shattered in half a heartbeat. I'm untouchable, she screamed as cuffs clicked around her wrists. Agent Martinez didn't even blink. Your father's in custody, too. RICO charges don't recognize local immunity. RICO. That's when it hit Delilah back at her mansion. News vans rolled in. Neighbors poured out. Carlos holding invoices. Meredith handing over 3 years of documentation. Federal agents boxed up computers. Mrs. Thornfield, I said when they led her down the steps in handcuffs, you told me veterans should know their place. I gestured to the flashing lights. This is our place. 6 months later, Brooklyn's serving time. Her social media empire collapsed overnight. Delilah got 5 years and lost every asset tied to her fraud network. 23 communities reimbursed. Millions recovered. Willowbrook looks different now. Carlos is HOA president. Transparent books. Competitive bids. Fees dropped $40 a month. Funny how fast emergencies disappear when nobody's stealing. That ATV. It's back in my garage. But it's more than that now. It's a symbol. Veterans come by to learn how to modify their own mobility rigs. We built a memorial garden with restitution funds, desert sage and fresh lumber in the air instead of fear. Here's the part nobody tells you: this was never about a machine. It was about power, about small-town royalty thinking law only applies downward. I used to think healing meant staying quiet, keeping my head down. Turns out sometimes healing means standing up, not loud, not reckless, just steady. Just money can buy lawyers. Connections can buy silence. But federal law truth documentation, that's different. Untouchable is just a word people use when nobody's pushed back yet. So let me ask you something. How many boards out there are signing contracts? Nobody reads. How many families are sitting quiet because they think the system's rigged? And if someone rolled up into your life, stole your independence, laughed about it on camera, what would you do? Drop your thoughts below. Tell me if you've ever dealt with an HOA bully or a connected family who thought they ran the town. Because here's the thing, power only works when good people decide it does. At the end of the day, real strength isn't money or influence. It's knowing the law and having the guts to use it.
Cảm ơn các bạn đã xem video.